All right.
Hello, Richard.
Hi, honey.
So today you made a video of opening all of these boxes of boat bits.
Yes.
The boxes of boat bits were exciting and fun to open.
Yes.
And what have you been feeling since you opened them?
Unimaginable dread. This project has been a year in prep in terms of just imagining it, thinking about it. Finally pulling the trigger on buying the boat has been, that was cool. It was nice to do that. It didn't quite feel real till the box started getting here. And we're getting here. And now I am 4 days out from starting the build, about. And I've read through the plans again. And I've watched this built hundreds of times. So I keep going through this roller coaster of like total excitement to do this, to finally build the boat, to finally start moving toward the event. And the whole point of this whole thing is not just to build a boat and go down the Mississippi. Like, it'd be cool to call it an adventure. Like, I love adventures. That's what I do. I rock climb, I climb mountains, I do those things. But those feel different than this because this, I mean, A, like, this is something I don't normally do. That's part of it. And B, I really, really want this to mean something. And that's hard because you can't like make meaning, right? That's like author problem number one. If you write a book and you have a point that you want to preach, no one wants to listen to you because it feels preachy. And that's not what I want to end up doing. I want to understand resilience building at the front end of this. I feel like I understand it pretty well. I feel like I know where I need to go, and I feel like I've got a fairly good understanding of my own weaknesses. I'm impulsive. I can be challenged when things like when it's challenging. I thrive. Like, I like it when it's challenging, but when it gets tedious or more towards the completion, like I've got the hard stuff out of the way, that's when I burn out a lot of times. So I have to watch that carefully.
So perhaps I could just, every step of the way, show you just how challenging it still is.
Yeah, no,
so that you don't become bored
that would
with
be good.
Or
But I think the other part of it too is like, I'm looking at this now, like there's the excitement of building this boat. I am excited to just go. I have a week now to just devote to it 100%. Try to get as much done as possible. I keep telling myself it's okay if I don't finish it in this week. I want to finish the whole thing, but it's probably not realistic. But I want to get as much done as possible because I've got until August to learn how to sail, to get it out in the water, and to raise realistically over $100,000. And that is scary. The money especially is a little scary right now because, I've got to support a family. And so that money can't be money that I use to support the family. It's got to be in addition to what I earn professionally to provide for my family, provide for my employees, and to take care of business around me. So I can't touch that, right? You don't touch your capital, your nest egg kind of stuff. So I'm not touching that, but I've got to build enough up. So there's that. We're looking for, donors, sponsors, people who want to bring along. And we got a lot of things going there. I say we, I mean the filmmakers and I. But it's, it's a hurdle. It's a real hurdle. I feel like we can get there. We've got grants we're looking into and things like that. But then I look at this boat today and I thought, looking at that plan, I just feel this sense of dread. Like, what if I fail, right? And I think that's a big part of this whole resilience journey is you have to face failure, not just when you fail, but that anxiety that you will fail. Like somehow it's an inevitability, right?
Yeah.
And the what ifs. And I have to keep telling myself, like a lot of the things I talk to my clients about as a therapist, especially with acceptance and commitment therapy, it's this idea of living in the present moment. I haven't failed. I haven't succeeded either, but I'm in the present moment. I got to face the brutal reality of what I've got ahead of me without losing hope that at some point I'll triumph. And I think that comes to my head a lot right now is have the hope that at some point I will triumph. I envision myself sailing in or paddling into the Gulf of Mexico and seeing you and the girls there to, cheer me on. Maybe even be in the boat as we go off that last little bit into the Gulf and then turn around and come back in and have our celebration. And that, I got that in there, but then I got to look at, I've got to face the brutal reality of we're not there. I've got to build the thing. It was fun to pull it apart with my daughter today and to see it there and see like, okay, this is where it is. But also seeing how many parts don't make sense looking at it. They're like, oh, that's not the plans I looked at.
What's this?
You know?
Where does this
Where does
go?
that go? And I have a lot of organizational things, and organization is not one of my strong suits. So that's a skill I have to get good at. It's scary. So yeah, I'm on a roller coaster right now. I want to do a good job of this. I have utter confidence that we can do it. I still feel like this is doable. I still feel like I can make this work. But it is scary to face it.
So then to ask you a question, at what point this afternoon, this evening, did you realize that you were feeling scared about this? And then what have you done about that fear? What are some of the steps you've taken to try and get through the fear?
That's a good question. I don't think I caught on at first that I was feeling the fear. So we got it all pulled aside, and then we started setting up Christmas stuff today, which was fun. I get my daughters to do that with me. It was relaxing to do that. But in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, I gotta get started on this thing. I gotta get started on this thing. And the first thing I did was I shut down. I came in and we played video games for, 2 hours as a family. And then I snacked on pie and laid around and just sat around with my girls, still just goofing around for a while. The thought in the back of my head the whole time was, why aren't you studying something? Why aren't you preparing for the week? You still got notes to get done before the end of the week so that you don't have work hanging over your head.
You still have work to do.
You got work to do.
Before working on the boat.
That's one of the big things I got to get done this week is I've got a week. I'm taking off work to do this. I've got to get admin stuff out of the way because I'm a clinical director, right? Like I'm in charge of a team of 15 therapists. And so I've got to make sure all of that's set aside. And payroll's coming up at the end of the month here. So we got to get that put aside. So I've got all that hanging over my head until Sunday. So, of course, I did the whole, not there. So I think that was that. And then I went down and I made myself read the plans again and just face what's ahead. So I've got a plan for the next 2 days. That's the present moment, is the next 2 days. So I've got tonight, we're just going to focus on getting notes done. I'm going to get admin stuff out of the way. I'm going to look at emails. I don't want to look at my emails, but I got to read those emails.
I have over 2,000 unread emails in my inbox.
I know. I'm in that same boat. Now that 2,000, that makes me feel a little better.
Totally. If I can help you feel better, I will be there for you.
You have been
I think
there.
at this point it's over 2,500.
You have been there for me this whole time. I am grateful for that. That has helped a ton, knowing that you're there. And the fact that you're sitting here talking me through this vlog. And that was the next thing was I needed to talk about it because this is not going to be a true documentary of resilience building if we don't document these moments where I am feeling the feelings.
Yeah. And I think it was important you talked to me about it. And then we got on our knees and you prayed about it. And then you were able to get up and get this camera and set up.
Yeah.
For the, okay,
Gotta talk it through.
I need to journal this and make sure
Yeah.
I've recorded this process.
And that's what this is. This is journal. Whether part of this ends up in the movie or if it ends up just as part of our, documentary process of the whole thing, I don't know. But it is important for me to talk it out. So yeah, I'm excited still. I really am. I feel more relief now that we're talking about it. And I'm excited to get back into it. Yeah. I'm fighting with a lot of little demons in my head too. Like, why am I doing it? And what a big part of it too is I think it's a personal healing journey too, because 8 years now of trauma work has been kicking my butt. We've been talking about a lot lately, just this concept of like feeling effective, because when you're working with people who are going through tough stuff, it's one thing to tell them about how to be resilient and to teach them these tools, but I can't do it for them. I've had a lot of that this week. This past week has been rough with clients. Been really rough with clients. And not because they're bad clients, like they're good clients. I know I care about them. I want to pretend I don't care that much. I joked about it all the time in school. The reason I'm a good therapist is I don't like people, but it's not true. I do like people. I'm just usually pretty good at separating myself from work. But this has not been good this week. I've got a number of clients who are actively having suicidal thoughts and who are struggling. And I can't take that burden away from them as much as I want to. And we've talked about this, you and I, just this, it's like I feel like, maybe it's just the Philly coming out of me. Like I feel like the Rocky movies, right? But I'm not Rocky. I'm not the one running up steps and Adrian. I'm the gruff coach in the sidelines. And I can't fight for them. I would love nothing better to be able to jump up in that ring and fight for them. But I can't because it's their fight. It's against the rules, if you want to put it that way. Ethically speaking, too.
Therapists don't get to go punch people.
No. And it wouldn't solve anything.
No, it would not.
They have to face those demons. And it's like I'm trying to give them that coaching and help them through that. And they have to make that fight. And it's hard because sometimes they don't take the punches well, or sometimes they don't do what you're asking them to do, or sometimes it's just too hard. And I have to rethink it. And it's tough. And I look at it here for this project too and recognize I have the same struggle, right? Like I look at this and like, no one can build the boat for me. Like that would defeat the purpose of the boat. I've got to build it myself. Mm-hmm. I've got to get in the water and I've got to row the miles and I've got to do the work. No one can do it for me. I can have help. And the help so far has been an absolute relief. And I think that gives me courage to know that therapy can be helpful to my clients too, because it's like I can cheer them on, I can give them help, and that does help. It really does help. It doesn't solve the problem for them, but that's okay, because I noticed that too for myself. Like I got to build this boat, and honestly, just having you talk about it and saying when we get there, that lifts my spirits hugely. Having my daughter out there acting like a goofball and putting tape all over herself while we're trying to get this thing built because she's just excited to be on camera because she loves this stuff. That's helpful. So yeah, that's where I'm at. It's a lot and I'm dealing with it, but it's, yeah, this is the front end. I think this is the first major dip I've felt. I've been pretty enthusiastic and excited the whole time, but now this is the first time where I'm facing the first big step.
Well, and until now, you may have had dips, but they were all quite theoretical and in your head. And today you had to heft the weight of the actual boat.
Yeah. Well, they're easy to dodge. When you haven't put any money down, when you haven't put the time into it, when you haven't invested anything at all, it's easy to say, well, maybe it was just a dumb idea and back away. But now I've got skin in the game, right? Like we've put in a lot of money so far, and it's only the tip of the iceberg what we got to put in so far. And then I had to go up the mountains, cut down a tree, and mill that out, and we figured out that kind of stuff. So it's time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears. No blood so far, thank goodness.
Let's keep the blood to a minimum.
Let's keep the blood to a minimum. Yeah, I agree.
Sweat and tears are totally fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got the tears out of the way today, I guess. Maybe not. Anyways.
I think it's okay if there are more of those.
They will come. We'll get there. Feel a little bit better talking about it now. So, tomorrow, shopping trip. Got to get last of the tools and some basics that we need. Clothes that I don't mind destroying. And then I got to get the key to the shop. And then I got to get to the shop on Saturday. I think we're going to start the epoxying on Saturday to get the main boards prepped so that we can start stitching on Monday. So, that's where we're at. Thank you.